Hello and welcome to coverage of the USA versus South Africa Sprint International. On today's episode, we bring you highlights from the first round recently held at the Ultimate Raceway. Ultimate Racing is proudly brought to you by LSP Group.
Welcome to Ultimate Raceway. I think it's a wonderful day. Welcome to all the race fans and everybody that will watch the show from here and hopefully around the world. It's an extraordinary day today for me and as a new promoter, and also with my friends here from the USA that has come all the way to join us here for a USA team versus South Africa team. And I think it is great to have these countries coming together and enjoy themselves, have fun. And I think the purpose of this is to grow this into an international series. And I think this is the first start, the first edition of it. And I hope that from now on, the things will only go better. And I want to say welcome to Tom from the USA. In South Africa, we call him Bob. So I think that is the welcoming. Yeah, they've been here before. They're old friends of ours. And I think that is the spirit that we want to continue on this, and I hope that Tom from our side in South Africa, welcome here, and I hope you guys enjoy it thoroughly.
Oh, I tell you what, Isak, it's been an absolutely fantastic trip so far, and we've only been here about 5 days. This is something that all the sprint car racers in the Midwest anyway really look forward to doing if the opportunity comes up. You know, back before I bought the Auto Value Bumper to Bumper Super Sprints, I'd heard about this trip from numerous drivers, Brian Lay being one of them, Hank Lauer, Bill Tyler, to name just a few that have been over here, Kevin Feeney, but I couldn't wait to get here. And 3 years ago, I got the opportunity to come, and man, when that phone call came in the last of November, 1st December there, said, hey, do you think you'd like to go back to South Africa? It took me all about a second and a half to say yes. So, you know, it's just the excitement level. The fans here are absolutely fantastic. It's almost, to me, it was almost embarrassing. You know, you would think we were the president and the first lady or whoever the United States, the way they treated us and have treated us. And it's just, it's really a warm, thankful welcome, and we can't ask for any better treatment than we've had.
Oh, well, I'm very glad, and hopefully when we come to you in America, we will get the same treatment, and I know we will.
Well, and you know, that's the thing too that we're looking forward to, and you and I talked about it the other day when we were traveling back and forth to the house, and it's something that we want to get started on a yearly basis. We've wanted to do this for a while, but now it's going to kind of be a little bit easier. Not only do I own the Auto Value Bumper to Bumper Super Sprints, but I'm also a part owner in the Royal Purple King of the Wings series, which is a national tour. And fortunately, you guys are going to be there during the month of July. And we've got probably 6 races in that 4-week period. So it's going to be fantastic timing. And we'll go back now when we get done here in 3 weeks or so and head back to the United States. We'll start getting cars around and making plans to get you guys across there for that. So it's going to be a neat thing. And there's even some bigger things that we've talked about that could be on the horizon. So this is really an exciting year. It's a very what I want to say, instrumental year, I guess, in making this happen, and we're excited about that. So I think it's going to work.
Yeah, I think if you see the effort that all of us has made, and I think especially my team and all the officials and the drivers that come, you know, I think the spirit is great, the vibe is great, and I think that is what the spirit, we want to build on that. The foundation has been laid, and I think it can only grow from here. And I think, like we've said and like we've discussed it before, I think it's a start of a great thing that will come. And obviously we will build on it, and I think it will take time.
Well, and two, I think for the survival of pavement wing sprint cars, this is what we have to do. We have to, look at, I mean, we've got, what, 4 or 5 hours yet until showtime, and the grandstands are a quarter full already. And I thought, holy crap, you know, this in the United States, you just don't see this. They come maybe an hour or so beforehand, but they're here to have a good time and be entertained. And the drivers back there right now, they're sitting in the shade because it's a rather warm day here, but they're they'll come out and they'll see this crowd, and the adrenaline level that fast will go right to the top, and we're ready to rock and roll, you know. So it's just really a neat thing.
Yeah, listen, one thing about this place, the fans are really fanatic about this, especially this facility, and it goes back like 50 years, and I think there's a lot of passion here, and I think we can see it with the crowd that comes in. I mean, the area, they love this place, and I think it is good for us to give back to the communities and give back to the people and the race fans and also for the drivers, and I think everybody will enjoy it.
And you just said a mouthful, and that's one of the things that I talk about when I work with promoters in the United States. We're partners. We are partners, any way you look at it. You know, it's my job to come with X number of cars. It's your job to promote the show. And if we do our job, those people will come too, and they're part of our partnership. It takes everybody working together to put, as I call it, butts in the seats, and that's the bottom line to this. So that from the drivers clear on through the crew members, and you know, our crew members as production people, and the promoters and all their people, we all have to work collectively together to make it a success. And when that's done properly, that shows in the stands, and that's what this is all about. We are in the entertainment business.
Yes, and I think it's all about the show. Anyway, we thank everybody for looking at this, and we hope you appreciate it and enjoy it. Thank you.
Let's go racing.
USA versus South Africa Sprint Invitational Round 1 highlights are coming up right after the break.
Well, when we got here, first part of the week, actually, this car that I'm driving and the car that Jim's driving, they're cars that I had just sold to Isak, and so we knew the cars pretty well. Got over here and just had to finish a few things up on them. Had a little bit of an issue, couldn't get mine to fire because somehow coming over the water there, the MSD box went out. So we threw one in and decided to fire it on the racetrack without our proper gear on, and we got a little boo-boo out of it. Kind of took 530 volts through the finger. Got pretty good electrifying experience there. We won't do again. Other than that, we got them on the track and everything fired up. We got everything going good now. Now we just need to learn the track. I mean, they've done a heck of a job here with this facility. I've never been here. It's our first time. My wife and I are both here, and we're just amazed to get to come over here, and we're blessed. It's just a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Well, these guys 3-4 times, so we might get to come back hopefully, but it's just amazed me to see the countryside and the people, and it's just everybody's been so warm and welcoming. We're glad to be here.
A lot of today we come in, we checked a lot of the drivers that run here. They helped us out a whole bunch to tell us what we're going to do to the cars. We have to set the cars up, get them around. We actually got to run them a little bit yesterday, so we had an idea, and we've been working on the cars just trying to get that fine tune in and get a little speed going. I think we can be pretty competitive. You got a lot of good drivers here, so it's going to be really tough, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I think if we get some track time, maybe we can give them a little challenge, we're hoping. If not, we'll still have a lot of fun with a bunch of good guys.
I've been kind of very busy doing all the marketing for the track and that. Luckily, I have good people like my husband there, and our pit crew. It's very dedicated, and they help us prepare the cars. So yeah, everybody's been quite busy. The USA guys been getting their cars set up just the way they like it. My husband does his best to try and get the car set up the way I like it. All I can basically do is tire pressures and stagger and just see that it's clean. So that's my job, and then to get out on the track and just race it.
When we come here, we have to spend a lot of time with our cars to make sure that they're measured right and properly set up, and it takes us a couple days to do that, and we've done that, and we're ready to go. There's a good crowd of race cars here today, good drivers, and I expect that we'll be up front and put on a good show.
Ready to get this Sprint Invitational event underway here at the Ultimate Raceway. It's going to be Brian Lay who leads the way down towards the first corner. On the outside in the number 8 is Andries Marks, the South African driver, and Bill Tyler, the American, has slotted himself into P3 off the opening getaway there. But looking great guns out on track is Brian Lay at the moment in the number 71. You may notice, of course, he's using the car that says Isaac Spies, but he is Brian Lay behind the wheel of that machine. The top two already breaking away from third position of Bill Tyler at the moment, and then there's quite a proceeding battle as off the circuit there has gone Tinus van Mollendorf, the South African driver. Surely that will bring out the red flag, and that will as well. That's Bill Tyler off from third position as well. He's come grinding to a halt at the final corner, so we'll have to get this heat back underway, and indeed we do. The restart goes, and it is going to be Brian Lay who leads the way down towards the first corner, once again ahead of Andries Marks, so American from South African at the moment. And then that gap back to third position where there's a great battle that's ensuing onwards for the time being. The circuit looking beautiful here in Vereniging, and also the grandstand full to the rafters of people and fans who have come out here to see the fantastic spectacles that are on offer, such as this brilliant battle that is taking place at the moment. There is Devon Coatsey. Keep an eye out because he is trying to find his way through against the number 21 in front of him, which actually at the moment looks to be Rolf Nell. So Rolf Nell looking very good out there on circuit at the moment. He's looking pretty good in that white and blue machine. Onto the final lap of this first heat we are already, and Brian Lay has led from start to finish. He's looked great out there on circuit. Even his closest challenger Andries Marks has been able to put a stop to it, and it is going to be the first heat going the way of Brian Lay. Second place is Andries Marks. A brilliant start to the heats here at the Ultimate Raceway, and the final podium position coming across the line. Here's heat 2. Let's get heat 2 then underway. Jack Roos leads over the line. In second place is Isaac Spies in the black and purple machine. Then keep an eye out for Quentin Simon as well in the green number 7. He can prove to be very interesting, sitting there in third place at the moment. Over the timing line we go, already having completed a first lap, and Simon looking very menacing against Isaac Spies in the opening stages of this race. Into the final corner we go, and surely it's going to be a matter of time before Simon can find a way through. But Isaac Spies, he's a very experienced driver, and he'll be doing everything in his power to be able to hold on to that second podium position. But all the while, these two are battling. It does allow Jack Roos in the fluorescent yellow and black machine to lead the way. Up the inside goes Simon ahead of Spies, but there is a caution out on the circuit as well. There's a yellow flag, so he'll have to give that position back. That's a real shame there for Simon, because he put in a great effort, and that's why the caution was out. It's Adrian Funsale who's gone off the circuit. The restart then gets the race underway, and Simon into third place as Jack Roos leads the way across the line ahead of Spies, ahead of Simon. And then fourth place being held on to at the moment, by the looks of things, by Mike Stutzman. And Stutzman, the American, looking great out there so far. But at the moment it is South Africans first, second and third. The Americans not having a good time of it in Heat 2 for the time being. But Spies holding on to that second place, and Simon trying to find his way through in the green number 7 onto the final lap. And Quentin Simon's running out of opportunities. He's only really got the next braking zone to go. Here is Jack Roos into the final corner though. What a race he's led. The fluorescent black and yellow machine comes across the line to take the second heat victory. Isaac Spies holds on to second place, and Quentin Simon rounds out the podium in third. Let's get Heat 3 then underway. Who will lead the way down towards turn 1? It's Andries Marks, the South African. Side-by-side action as well as DeWald Coetzee goes absolutely hammer and tong as well with third position. And DeWald holds on to P2 for the time being. Some great racing, but Andries Marks, the South African, leads the way over the timing line. And DeWald Coetzee on the number 191, sliding the back end out as the sun begins to set here at the Ultimate Raceway. Over the timing line we go. These laps done in quicker succession than you could ever imagine. And keep an eye out there for the pink number 17 as well. That is Lisa Funsale. On board we go with Rolf Duplessis of the LSP group. This is actually Rolf's first time driving in the sprint. He used to race actually in the West Bank V8 Supercar Championship, and he's looking great out there as well. But will he be able to find himself ahead of Lisa Funsale as contact there? Looks like it's going to have demoted Brian Lay down the order. Indeed it has. Bit squirrely as well as he comes over the line, but he's sitting there in a good position nonetheless. There, meanwhile, is Lisa Funsale, who's still got Duplessis, Rolf Duplessis, to try and contend with. But Duplessis not able to find an opportunity to get themselves ahead at the moment. This is the two South Africans battling for position. Smoke coming off the tyres, meanwhile, of the drivers out in the front end of this race as Brian Lay really starts to pile the pressure on to the number 21 of Rolf Nell. Rolf Nell really sliding the back end out in the white and blue machine and trying to make his car as wide as possible, but looking around the outside, it's going to be Brian Lay. Will Lay be able to find the opportunity? Onto the final lap we go. He's sliding all over the place for third position. This is incredible racing. The leader is Andries Marks, DeWald Coetzee in second place, but who's going to get third? It is going to go the way of Rolf Nell. Incredible end to the third heat. Unbelievable. What will happen then for Heats 4? Well, across the line we go, and leading the way in towards the first corner is Mike Stutzman. Contact though as well further down the order. Looks like we've got Jim Swain, the American, who's caught up in some strife. Here's Swain on the inside into third place, and he lost it all on his own. My goodness me, that's a very uncharacteristic incident there from Jim Swain. He goes spinning around and down the order, and he's now going to have to start from the back of the grid with the restart that we will have right now. So across the line we go with Stutzman leading the way from the number 71 of Isaac Spies. Third place is Jack Roos, but Quentin Simon trying to change that for third place. Meanwhile, the lead almost changing as well, and Stutzman comes under some pressure. from the number 71 of Isaac Spies. Spies trying to find an opportunity, but it's not being presented to him so far. Meanwhile, Simon holding on to third place, looking to try and make that second as we go on board with the leader. He's up the inside, is Simon. Will he find an opportunity? He shuts the door, does second place man of Spies, and he has to find another opportunity. Does Quentin Simon, and all the while that duo is battling, it does allow the fourth place man of Jack Roos to try and find his way through. Over the timing line we go, looking great out there on circuit are these drivers, and Jack Roos really coming into play now as well. And all the while this trio, now as it is, are battling. It's going to allow the leader of Mike Stutzman to break away and try and take some of the points back against the South Africans for the United States of America. Meanwhile, Simon tries to find his way through against Isaac Spies, and Jack Roos tries to find his way through against Simon as well. There's a flag out there for dangerous driving for one of them. Over the timing line we go and into turn one. Here comes Simon up the inside of Spies, so into second place for Quentin Simon. Spies into third place. No, make that fourth, because now he's behind Jack Roos as well. So Spies goes from second to fourth in the space of 2 corners here at the Ultimate Raceway. Incredible racing, and what a way to get things underway in 2017 here at the Ultimate Raceway in South Africa. Some great battles going on further up the order as well. Meanwhile, the leader, Mike Stutzman, the American, is looking great out there so far. Only 4 drivers representing the United States of America, as it looks like somebody went off in the far end of the picture up at the top of the screen. Let's see who it was. Indeed they did, and it was Jim Swain, unfortunately, as well. So that is Jim Swain. A real shame there. The yellow flag is out, the race has been curtailed, and the second heat will go the way then of Mike Stutzman from Quentin Simon, from third place Jack Roos. Let's get the final underway, shall we? Across the line we go. Who's going to lead in towards turn one? It will be Brian Lay then, ahead of Andres Marks. Jack Roos holding on to third place, and then Quentin Simon just holding on to fourth. A little bit further back in your picture as well. But it is Brian Lay who leads across the line and into turn one. Andres Marks coming under pressure for third place as well against the white, black and fluorescent yellow machine of Jack Roos. Roos trying to find an opportunity, but biding his time very nicely indeed. The circuit bathed in floodlights and still absolutely drowned in spectators as well. Much like it wasn't drowned, of course, at the back end of last year when we did this all over again. Meanwhile, looking great out there on circuit is Isaac Spies in the number 71. He is trying to find an opportunity ahead of the number 21 of Mike Stutzman, his fellow countryman. Meanwhile, back out with the leader of Brian Lay at the moment. He's looking really comfortable out there on circuit, but he is coming under some ever-increasing pressure from the South African driver Andres Marks, and now of course they're coming up against lap traffic as well, which could prove to be very interesting indeed. They're just behind Lisa Fun Sale, who's also got a bit of company as well in the form of Tina's Fun Mollendorf. They managed to negotiate their way around the outside, but the number 8 of Andres Marks in third place tries to find an opportunity to get himself ahead of the leader. Meanwhile, Jacques Roos there in the white, black and fluorescent yellow machine, trying to find his way through against the second place man of Andres Marks as well. But all the while that's happening, it has allowed ever such a slight breakaway for the leader. Meanwhile, one of the cars going off onto the infield of the circuit looks to be Stefan Engeckel. He is out of this race, unfortunately, and now Brian Lay has got a clear track in front of him. But somebody who hasn't got a clear track in front of him is Jack Roos, who's trying to find his way ahead of Andres Marks. He finds his way around the outside into the final corner. Unbelievable driving there from Jack Roos up into second place in the closing stages of this race. It's incredible to see the fantastic action that we've had on track throughout the course of this invitational event versus South Africa and the United States. It's been brilliant to see. Meanwhile, Tina's Fun Mollendorf coming under pressure, and Isaac Spies putting some pressure as well on the number 21 machine of Mike Stutzman. Stutzman on the inside, Spies on the outside. Will the South African be able to find his way through? Indeed he will, so he moves up a position, and the final lap of racing then will indeed see Brian Lay leading across the line and taking the checkered flag as well. Brian Lay takes the final victory here for the United States of America. Second place will go the way of Andres Marks, third is Jack Roos, fourth is Isaac Spies, and rounding out the top 5 is Mike Stutzman of the United States. And it does mean that Team South Africa are on top with 253 points compared to Team USA's 184.
I can't be more excited on how the things went on the racetrack tonight. You know, we struggled all week, and you know, hard work pays off, and you know, the only way to pay back that hard work is to, you know, be in the winner's circle.
Yeah, firstly, I have to say thank you very much to Saki Spies for the opportunity to drive the car. I must tell you, to get out of the Westbank V8 supercar from the long circuit to this is something awesome. I couldn't believe the power of these cars, the handling of this car, the brakes. It's just awesome. I enjoy it very, very much. Thank you.
Yeah, we had a typical racing day. After you race as many years as I have, you have some days like this. We worked and worked and worked, got the car going really good, qualified good, was running really good in the heat, and one of the fuel pumps went bad in it right during the race. So we didn't have time to get it fixed for the race tonight. So they were fortunate enough to give me another car, and I started the main in that and moved up a little ways in that too. So didn't have time to work on it, but I sure had a lot of fun, and there's a lot of guys racing hard here, and we're all excited, ready to do it again. I'm going to get my old girl fixed here, and maybe I get a little farther up towards the front this next time, I'm hoping.
You know what? We came here, we ran the first heat race. The car was okay. Did a little bit of tweaking on it, and went out in the next heat race and won my very first wing race. Like, I had to come all the way to South Africa to win a heat race, but it's my first win in a wing car, so I'm happy with that. And I think we finished 6th maybe for the night on the feature. So we'll take that home. Cars are in one piece, and we'll move on to next week.
Time to get Heat 2 underway here at the Ultimate Raceway, and the leading across the line and starting this race will be Rudy Myberg. Frankie Paver holding on to second place, and then third position coming under grabs now as well, because Albert Bridges in the blue machine in P3 is coming under all sorts of pressure from Piki Kurtzer from behind. The top four looking pretty good out there so far. The circuit perhaps not in the best condition we've seen it this weekend. It's a bit wet and a bit damp out there still on the circuit, and that is proving to be very, very interesting indeed. But leading the way and taking the early advantage is Rudy Myberg. But the second place man of Frankie Paver coming under all sorts of pressure from behind, with Albert Bridges in the blue 56 piling on the pressure, and Piki Kurtzia really looking very menacing as well. All the while the leader manages to break away and get a bit of a gap over the rest of the prevailing field. But second place, Frankie Paver coming under pressure in the number 98. He's in the silver and black machine with the orange highlights, and he is coming under all sorts of pressure and succumbing to it as well. He slips and slides, over the line he goes, off to the infield of the circuit. Hopefully he can manage to make it back on without causing a yellow flag or a caution, and without taking any of the prevailing field with him either. But nonetheless, he'll be dropping right down the order, so much so that the leader of Rudy Myberg manages to take the advantage and is already coming up to lap that driver as well. You can see in the background of your shot there, somebody's gone into the wall, but that's not been enough to warrant a caution. But Myberg leading this race very comfortably. He's got a great gap over the rest of the field, and now he's starting to lap the rest of the cars through it as well in this second heat. Last lap board now displayed. Just a couple more corners separating Myberg from the second heat victory here at the Ultimate Raceway in South Africa. It's proven to be a very interesting race, and as you can see, the crowd still very much in attendance and looking forward to the third heat that will be coming up very shortly. But Rudy Myberg comes across the line to take victory in heat number 2. What will happen then in heat number 3? Well, it's going to be Myberg leading the way across the line against Pieter Brand. Brand on the outside already with some bodywork damage to his car. Meanwhile, the number 5, the white machine of Piki Kurtzia, goes into the back of the car in 4th position at the moment. But Myberg leading the way, but coming under all sorts of pressure from behind from Pieter Brand. Brand looking very, very menacing as that fluorescent yellow and orange machine of Lonica Martins, the female driver, now gets herself up into P3 ahead of Piki Kurtzia, despite that contact on the first corner of the first lap of this heat here at the Ultimate Raceway. But now, all the while, these three really are battling from 2nd, 3rd and 4th position. It is going to allow the leader of Rudy Myberg to get a bit more of an advantage, but Brand looking very good there in 2nd place, the number 47, and closing up ever so slightly actually on Rudy Myberg as well. So the Heat 2 victor not managing to break away as you might begin to expect from him at this stage in the race. As somebody's in the barrier, that is James Buerter. He is out of this race. The yellow flag is out. That will mean the race will be curtailed, and indeed we'll get the restart underway once again with Myberg leading from Brand, leading from Lonica Martins in 3rd place, and then 4th is still Piki Kurtzia, with the prevailing field looking very close behind as well. Better restart this time from Myberg. He manages to get a bit more of an advantage over Brand at this stage in the race, and the Number 47 of Pieter Bland looking very good out there so far. He could potentially be in contention for the lead of this race, but I dare say that Lonneke Martins could prove to be very interesting indeed. Very deep on the brakes into the final corner for Bland. Will that put him on the outside? No, it won't. He manages to gather that up again. He's looking very menacing though to try and take the lead away from Rudy Myberg, but Myberg defending his line very, very well indeed. But Brandt really piling on the pressure. Despite that bodywork damage, he goes to the outside line into the right-hander. Can't quite manage to find his way through. Gets a slip and a slide on and has to put the anchors on as well. And that allows Lonneke Martins in third place to really come up very close indeed. Martins on the inside as they come down the straight into the right-hander. Brandt, will he hold it around the outside? Yes, indeed he will. But Martins, they're side by side between the duo. Looking very menacing indeed. This is going to be incredibly close. Martins goes for a move but can't quite manage to make it stick up the inside and has to opt for another opportunity to present itself. Brandt doing a great job of defending his line and taking corner speed perhaps where he wouldn't want to, kissing the barrier on the outside there as well. He's looking very, very menacing indeed. And Lonneke Martins looking pretty close and pretty comfortable out there, it's got to be said. Great to see the female driver doing very well here in this hot rods class at the Ultimate Raceway. Final lap board now displayed. Rudy Myberg, the number 127 you can see on your screen now, has got this in the bag by the looks of things, and across the line he comes to take the 13th victory here at the Ultimate Raceway. Second place goes to Pieter Bland, and then third, rounding out the podium, goes to Lonneke Martins. Highlights of Heat 3's Super Saloon category underway, and leading the way across the timing line and on the inside is Andrew Furdy, though coming under pressure from the black number 70 of Jan Klassen. Klassen really being hung out to dry there and looking set to lose another position as well as Johan Duplessis darts his way up the inside and into P2 in this third heat. Look at that, very interesting to see. So Klassen goes from first potentially down to third in the space of a lap here at the Ultimate Raceway, and now could be set also to lose another position. I wonder if there's some kind of a technical issue with his car. Could prove to be very interesting. But the man in fourth place, Gerhard Jacobs, in the number 88 in the red machine, that man there we're just looking at on your picture, he could prove to be a very interesting catalyst in this race, although he has got some company behind from Dani de Vries as well, so keep an eye on that little squabble as it continues. There is Dani in the Mark 1 Ford Escort Shell machine, looking pretty good out there on the circuit, it's got to be said, as the field begins to spread out at this stage in the race, and we wait to see whether de Vries can manage to get himself ahead of Gerhard at the moment. Could prove to be a very interesting development. Meanwhile, later on in the race, Furdy still leading the way, but coming under all sorts of pressure from Johan Duplessis. Duplessis in and amongst the lap traffic now, the top two are. This could prove to be a very interesting development indeed. Still Andrew Furdy leading the way though, looking calm, looking confident, and most importantly, looking comfortable as we come onto the final lap here for the third heat of the Super Saloons at the Ultimate Raceway. Very good race from both of these two. They've looked very, very good indeed. But around the final corner comes Andrew Furdy. He's led comfortably and calmly, and he comes across the timing line to take victory in Heat 3 ahead of Johan Duplessis. Very wet and very slippery conditions here at the Ultimate Raceway, but nonetheless the heat for 1660 is underway. Leading the way across the timing line is going to be Andre Messine, but up the inside into the first corner will go Heinz Steenkamp. Meanwhile, contact and 3 wide further back. That results in damage to the front bumper of Marnus Duplessis in the number 191 white machine. Meanwhile, looking around the outside for the lead of this race is Messine against Steenkamp. The front wheel drive versus the rear wheel drive machines, and in these very wet and very slippery conditions, that is proving to be quite an interesting factor indeed. Still looking around the outside is Messine. Meanwhile, spinning around now goes the 202 of Pieter van Steden, and into the side of him as well looks to be Jacques Bournin as well. Jacques Bournin, here's a replay. Here goes Pieter spinning around on the very slippery conditions, and bang into the front of him with nowhere else to go goes Bournin, and that will result in the red flag coming out and indeed a restart to this first heat here at the Ultimate Raceway. A big shame for things to come to a halt so prematurely. Nonetheless, let's get things back underway then, and across the timing line to lead the restart of the first heat will indeed be Mornay Duplessis, closely followed by Marnus Duplessis, and then in third place the hastily repaired machine of Pieter van Steyden. Van Steyden in the Mercedes silhouette body, looking great out there on circuit. Meanwhile, very deep on the brakes, trying to find an opportunity for the lead, is Magnus du Plessis in the white, yellow and pink machine against Magnus du Plessis. Into the right-hander we go to start yet another lap here of this first heat, and Pieter van Steyden out wide as well. He gets caught up on a bit of standing water. These cars not really designed to be running in this sort of weather, but nonetheless proving to be very, very interesting and a great spectacle for the fans that have turned up here in South Africa for this racing today. Leading the way though is still Magnus du Plessis ahead of Magnus du Plessis. Magnus with the ultimate advantage in the 257 in the yellow machine out in front, and they've managed to gap Pieter van Steyden as well. Onto the final lap of the heat we go. Will Magnus be able to hold on for the lead, or will Magnus du Plessis be able to find an opportunity to get their way through? Into the final corner we go here at the Ultimate Raceway. It's going to be a Dante move up the inside, but braking too late and banging into the barrier. Unfortunately goes Magnus du Plessis, and out of the first heat. A slip and a slide across the line we go though, and it's Magnus du Plessis on top in Heat 1. Let's get Heat 3 then underway, shall we, here at the Ultimate Raceway. Across the line we go, and it is Magnus du Plessis who leads the way from Pieter van Steyden once again, and what looks to be Shane Bromelo holding on to P3 in the floodlit Ultimate Raceway circuit. Nighttime now, of course, has hit, but the fans, as you can see in the grandstands, all still out in force, ready for some brilliant racing here this evening. Fantastic to see Magnus du Plessis out in front in this race, and Pieter van Steyden, after what has to be said was a bit of a torrid first heat, back out in contention for the podium. Meanwhile, some great battles going on further down as Albert Bridges negotiates his way past Shane Bromelo. Up the inside, Bridges in the 56 ahead of Bromelo now, and Bromelo's going to be under threat. Indeed he is, from Magnus du Plessis, the second place or near second place finisher of the first heat. Side by side out of the final corner we go, breaking down into the final right-hander on this circuit, and du Plessis ahead of Bromelo. Will du Plessis be able to find their way through? Leading on Bromelo, but no opportunity being presented thus far. And while these two are battling, of course, it does indeed allow Albert Bridges to get that bit of a gap and be in contention for the podium, as du Plessis does indeed manage to get himself ahead of Shane Bromelo for this stage in the race. Going a bit wide though into the final corner, but gathering it all up and back on the loud pedal once again. Meanwhile, out in front, the top two, still Magnus du Plessis ahead of Pieter van Steyden. Van Steyden looking great out there on track, but now coming under pressure from Albert Bridges in the number 56. He was battling just a couple of laps ago for the final podium position. Now he forces his way up into second place ahead of Pieter van Steyden. So Bridges into second place, and he could also be in contention for the lead of this race as well. There's only a couple of laps left of this particular heat, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But at the moment it is still Magnus du Plessis in the yellow 257 with the lead. Albert Bridges in second place, and then Pieter van Steyden in P3. Final lap of this heat we go. Will Bridges be able to find a way ahead of du Plessis at the moment? Out of the second corner we go into the final turn here at the Ultimate Raceway, and it does indeed look as it is going to go the way of Magnus du Plessis. 2 out of 3 heat victories here at the Ultimate Raceway for du Plessis. Bridges in second and van Steyden in third. Ready to get Heat 3 of the stock runs underway here at the Ultimate Raceway. On the right-hand side of your screen, and on pole position in the 156, it is Marius Smit who leads the field over the line and in towards turn 1. Going into second place is Jan Borman, and then it is Dwayne Van Ass who is in third position at the moment. Already the top 3 breaking away from the rest of the field here at the Ultimate Raceway, but Marius Smit having a good opening lap there already and looking very calm and very confident out in front, with a slow runner in front of them just getting out of the way, managing to not cause too much drama here for this third heat. Meanwhile, Dwayne Van Ass looking to try and get himself onto the back. He's latching really closely to Jan Borman. Borman doing a good job out there, but they're coming up against some lap traffic already. Just in front of them is the Union Jack coloured machine of Cassie Kurtzia. Kurtzia could prove to be a very interesting catalyst in this race, but no, manages to get out of the way very nicely. Yellow flag out. for some reason or another, and that will be why, because there was a caution on the circuit for somebody going off. That will mean a restarted third heat. So will that prove to be very interesting? I'm sure it will. Once again, Marius Smith leaves over the timing line. In second place will be Jan Bormann, and then it will be Dwayne Van Ass. Will Van Ass, though, be able to try and launch a move up the inside of Bormann into turn one? He does indeed think about it, but can't quite get the move done and dusted because Bormann holds that line around the outside. And of course, these guys are going to come into some lap traffic before too long as well, so that could prove to be very interesting indeed. Van Ass all over the rear end of Bormann at the moment, but Bormann defending his line very nicely there. All of these drivers, of course, competing in the Volkswagen Golf machines. And it's Golf's in first, second and third in this Stock Rods race at the moment as somebody goes off to the infield of the circuit, whilst Van Ass gets himself all over the back of Bormann once again, closing up ever so slightly, looking for an opportunity to find his way through. Into turn one they go, and out of it already. No opportunity being presented there at all for Van Ass at the moment. Bormann goes for the defensive line, opts for the inside, but Van Ass in the red 114 looks for the exit, looks for the traction, looks for the inside line, in towards turn one, deep on the brakes he goes, gets the line done, gets the position taken, and he's up into P2, but for how long? Because Jan Bormann could prove to be very interesting. And what could prove to be even more interesting is the lap traffic that they are coming up against. That will be a very interesting catalyst in this race. And ever so slightly a gap does indeed begin to increase as Marius Smith, you saw him just in the forefront of the shot there, the white machine, he's comfortably out in front at the moment. Meanwhile, later on in the race, there is the leader, Marius Smith, making his way past Kutzia once again. Kati Kutzia in the 555 Union Jack machine. Meanwhile, second and third place really coming under some pressure now because they are going all over the back of these lap drivers and they're getting right in the way, and they're quite right to hold on to their lines as well. There's nothing in the rules that says that they have to get out of the way of traffic that is quicker than them, and lo and behold, they're all involved, of course, in their own battle as well. In the meantime, it is still second place at the moment being held onto by Dwayne Van Ass, but the 308 machine of Jan Bormann is going right around the outside for second place. He uses the lap traffic to his advantage and gets himself back up into P2. Brilliant piece of driving ahead now of Jonathan Waller as well is the 308 of Jan Bormann, but Dwayne Van Ass looking to try and find his way back through, and he manages it with lap traffic holding back Bormann once again. They go past two machines, and Van Ass now back up into P2. Very interesting driving, brilliant piece of racing from all involved. Fantastic to see. So Dwayne Van Ass now sits in P2 in the Mark II Golf, the red machine, out in second place. Then very close behind him now after negotiating that lap traffic is Jan Bormann. He's looking to try and find a way back through into second place is Bormann, but no opportunities being presented thus far as they come over the timing line once again. Later on in this heat, still second and third as you were in the form of Van Ass and Bormann. Marius Smith has cleared off out in front as they just negotiate themselves ahead of Morn Kutzia. Kutzia gets himself out of the way very nicely indeed, but the battle for second place really coming to a head now. Final lap of racing in this third heat. It's going to go the way of Marius Smith out in front, but who is going to get second place? They come down into the final corner. Dwayne Van Ass in the red Mark II Golf gets himself out of the final corner in second place and comes across the line to take P2 with third position going the way of Jan Bormann. Revs are up then, we're ready for the start of the Pintos and 2.1 class. Over the timing line we go in very damp sodden conditions. Leads the way for Stan Patterson. On the outside of him is Johan Forster in the green machine, and Hans Britz in the number 87 looking around the outside from third place as Patterson goes for a spin on the infield of the circuit. Will that bring a stop to the proceedings? No, it won't, but that means that Patterson will be down at the back end of the field and have to make quite significant gains through the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, Britz looking to challenge Forster for the lead of this race, and keep an eye out for third place on the outside there. That is Andre Svort in the red, white and yellow machine. He could prove to be interesting as Britz looks up the inside of Forster, and Forster nearly losing out as well to Svort. Svort can't quite manage to find the traction and the purchase on the inside, but in towards the right hand and we go to the final corner on this lap, and he's got the position done and dusted and up into second place for Andre Svort. Forster down into third place in the space of two corners from the lead. very, very interesting indeed. And now looking set to lose another position is Forster as well against Spanner Pretorius. Pretorius up the inside in the yellow 214 as the leaders negotiate their way through traffic. Indeed, as you saw in the background of the shot, Forster now down into 4th position in this race. But Blitz in the 87 in the white machine leading the way and looking very calm and very confident indeed. Stan Patterson, you can see on the inside there, he's a lap down on the rest of the field. Blitz looking very calm and very confident as they come across the timing line to start the final lap of this first heat here at the Ultimate Raceway. His nearest challenger of Andres Ford has put up a good effort, a valiant effort, but it's not quite proven to be enough as they just get their way past the lap traffic once again of Ian De Pavia. De Pavia opting for the inside line, keeping out of harm's way, and across the line comes Hans Blitz to take the first heat victory here at the Ultimate Raceway ahead of Andres Ford. Well, the floodlights now out, nighttime beckons, and the Heat 3 is underway. Over the timing line we go with Patterson on the outside. On the inside, it is Spanner Pretorius. Pretorius muscles his way through into the lead and forces Patterson out wide. Meanwhile, it's all going on behind as well as Brits tries to make his way through the field and in towards the lead. He's in 4th place, nearly trying to find his way through against Johan Harmsey into 3rd position. Meanwhile, 2nd place now coming under threat is Stan Patterson because he's got Hans Blitz right behind him, but Blitz can't quite find an opportunity, maybe into this right-hander. He's thinking about a bit of a move, but I don't think he'll find the traction on the inside. Indeed, he doesn't and has to opt it for another day. Trying to find a way through. Patterson doing a great job of defending against Blitz, and Blitz likewise doing a great job defending from Harmsey as well. Here's an opportunity though, the door was open on the inside for Blitz, but no way through once again against the blue, red and white machine of Patterson. But here we go, over the timing line into turn 1, and he's done it, and it's dusted, and it's beautiful from Blitz. He's up the inside and into 2nd place in this race, and now Blitz looking to try and take the lead away from Spanner Pretorius as well. So 214, the yellow machine of Spanner Pretorius on the outside. Here comes Blitz like candy from a baby up the inside, side by side into the right-hander we go, and over the timing line once again to complete another lap into the right-hander of turn 1, breaking down, there they go. Very, very close indeed, but Blitz looking great out there so far on this circuit. Spanner Pretorius into 2nd place. Oh, and hit some standing water, and that's surely going to send. Yes, it is. Oh, dearie me, as Stan Patterson goes careering into the barrier. The yellow flag is out, and the red flag is out now as well, as a very heavily damaged car of Stan Patterson is recovered from an incident that wasn't really his fault at all. He was just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. What will happen with the restart though? Well, Spanner Pretorius looking to try and take the lead back immediately from Hans Blitz, but Blitz has got him covered off. And now 3rd place as well of Andres Fort, the 2nd place finisher of course of Heat 1 in the 155, the red, white and yellow machine in 3rd place so far. He could prove to be very interesting in the latter stages of this race, especially if Pretorius makes a mistake like he did. He was very wide into that final turn, and that was all that Andres Fort needed to get himself up into P2 in this 3rd heat. Great driving, very opportunist from Andres Fort, and all the while that happened, it did of course allow the leader of Hans Blitz to make a getaway, and he's got quite a comfortable advantage over the rest of the field. And now on the final lap of racing here in Heat 3 at the Ultimate Raceway, he's got no competition behind, he's got no traffic at all in front. He's looking very calm, very collected, and does indeed avoid that standing water on the final corner to take the 3rd victory heat here at the Ultimate Raceway. 2nd place goes the way of Andres Fort, and then rounding up the podium, it was Spanner Pretorius. That's a wrap for the first round. Next week we bring you coverage of the USA versus South Africa Sprint Invitational Round 2.